services, and may God bless you. We have another wonderful Sunday school lesson this morning. Our subject is Judgment on Israel and Judah. Judgment on Israel and Judah. What is judgment? Judgment, a decision given by a judge or a law court. Israel, an ancient Hebrew kingdom in Palestine. Judah, one of Jacob's sons. Judgment on Israel and Judah. Our Bible truth that God will not overlook injustice, but will punish the unjust. And our memory verse, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of the Lord, and have not kept his commandment, and their lies caused them to err, after the which their fathers had walked. I shall read our lesson from Amos 2:4 through 8, the King James Version. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of the Lord, and have not kept his commandments, and their lies caused them to err, after the which their fathers has walked. But I will send a fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the palace of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver, and the poor a pair of shoes, to paint after the dust of the earth on the head of the poor, and turn aside the way of the meek. A man and his father will go into the same maid, to profane my holy name. And they lay themselves down upon cloth laid to pledge by every altar, and they drink the wine of the condemned in the house of their God. God's judgment. Amen. God is going to judge us today. And he is judging us. But there's going to come one day a final judgment. But even before the final judgment, there are going to be judgments upon this earth. Our lesson aim, by the end of the lesson, your students will review God's judgment of Judah and Israel, encourage sensitivity towards social injustice, and address issues of injustice in their local and global community. Life needs for today's lesson. Even though people know right from wrong, some people treat others unjustly. Bible learning. Believers learn that God hates injustice and oppression of the poor. Bible application. People of faith are called to stand for justice, even though this may necessitate standing against others. And our students' responses. Discuss how Christians are involved in corporate injustice. And thank God we as saints, we don't want to treat anybody with injustice. And we don't like to be treated with injustice. We like to be treated how? Justly. Everybody like to be treated justly. Even when people has done wrong and know they have willfully done wrong, even have murdered people and robbed people and done things, they want to be treated justly. They don't want anybody to treat them unjust. So just like you want to be treated justly, then we should treat everyone the same. And one thing about it, God is going to treat us. He's not going to make any what? Mistakes. Now, sometimes we can treat people's ways and we might be wrong in our judgment. But God's judgment is never what? It is never wrong. Transgression means willfully deviation from and therefore rebellion against the path of moral or godly living. So we don't want to transgress against God. We don't want to transgress against our fellow man. We don't want to transgress against nobody, even the sinner. We don't want to transgress. You want to do what is holy and right, so that when you lie down at night and go to sleep, if you don't wake in the morning, you are sure to be with the Lord. And so we want to do what's right now, despise, to reject, refuse, or to despise. We don't want to reject our fellow man, whether they are saved or not. Now, you can't say, well, that person is not saved. That has nothing to do with it. Each one of us is a human being. Each one of us should be treated justly. God treated everybody. Jesus treated everybody, even those that didn't love him, as he died on the cross. And the man said, Lord, remember me when I come into thy kingdom. Jesus didn't turn him away, and so we can't turn people away. God loves us and has shown his love for us through his son Jesus, and we should love our neighbors and our fellow man. One thing about me, I like to know my neighbors. I see some neighbors move in, and I go and introduce myself to my neighbors, tell them who I am, what I'm all about, and then when they see me, they wave. I wave at my neighbors. I blow at my neighbors. I treat my neighbors with kindness, because you don't never know when you might need some help. The light of the word. The concept of slavery depicted in the Old Testament is not the equivalent of the North Atlantic slave trade, although there are certain parallels between the two. Slavery was a customary practice throughout the ancient Near East. Individuals could be sold into slavery to repay a personal debt to society. So you owed somebody some money, a personal debt, you had to go borrow something. If you didn't pay them, they actually could have you put into slavery. And so in war, citizens are conquering countries which often made slaves. So in war, the country that won, it would take the citizens of that country and make them slaves. Mosaic law governed how Israel was to treat slaves. Given the practice was already accustomed in the Near East culture, the law detailed how masters was to treat slaves humanely. Now, we know that as black people in America, when our forefathers was brought into this country, and even to this day, there is still a discrepancy how they treat black folks in the world today. So we were brought into this country. We were not treated humanely. If you were a slave, they sold you. They broke up your family. If your family were with you, they done, and they beat you, and they even murdered you. Somebody's still gonna have to pay for all of these things. Don't think that you got away with it. Don't think that your dirty deeds, you can cover them up. God sees all things. There is no night with God. See, there's night with men. Men can creep around, and sometimes when you're doing all of that mess, somebody see you anyway. It's hard to do anything. It's hard to go anywhere that people don't know. And sometimes you might not know that somebody saw you. See, and I've had people tell me things about people. Bro, I saw them do this. So be careful what you do and how slaves could be freed. For example, in Exodus 12:24-4, it indicates that a Hebrew who sold himself to another Hebrew should be released after 6 years of service. So if you had to borrow some money from somebody and say, I will work for you for 6 years, that was long as it could be. It couldn't be forever. Throughout your whole life, you had to be a slave. There's a time when you had to be free. And thank God that he has freed us from the slavery of sin. Thank God that he sent his son Jesus, that while we was yet in sin, The Bible said, while we were yet sinners, Christ what? Died for the ungodly. I thank Christ for dying for me. And so he died for us that we don't have to die this penalty of death because of sin. Yes, we all going to die the natural death in this life, but that is not what he come to save you from. He come to save you from the eternal death. That there will be no forgiving. There will be no release. And thank God. Do you ever think about that? Once you die, it's all over. And how you live is what is going to be, you're going to be judged on. Did you accept God? Did you live according to his will? How you treated your neighbors? God is looking at everything we do. Don't think you can get in the dark and God didn't see you. He sees. There's no night with him now, y'all. Thank God for Jesus. Life needs for today's lesson. Students will know that even though people know right from wrong, some people treat others unjustly. They know right from wrong, but they will treat you unjustly. I don't want the boomerang effect. Y'all know what the boomerang, you throw the boomerang, and where it comes right back. And it'll knock you side to head if you don't. So in other words, we don't want to treat others like you like to be treated and want to be treated. And God is going to bless you. Well, no. Don't let nobody make you so mad that you can't forgive. Look how we treated God, his son Jesus. Jesus came and they whipped him, they beat him, they scourged him, put a crown of thorns on his head, whipped him, made him carry his own cross, so much so till he just didn't have no strength left to carry his own cross. But he said, Father, do what? Forgive them, for they know not what. They don't know what they're doing. So thank God today we know what is right and what is wrong. It is incumbent on us as parents to teach our children. Don't let your children get so grown that you can't tell them what's right and wrong. Because Sister Bernadette, if I was 24 when you was born, when you get 50, I'm still 24 years older than you. I got 24 years on you. I don't care how you look at it. And I will tell you what's right and wrong. Because one day you're going to need it. You know, parents aren't going to be with their children now. Don't let your children think that you think they're so cute you can't straighten them out. Get them. Jack them up. But be humane now. Be humane to them. You know, when I was a boy in Mississippi, they would whip you in school. Oh yeah, they would whip you for talking and doing things. It was a good thing, y'all. And I know it done some good because I'd never been in jail. And my father died when I was 8, my mother when I was 13. And if I had not been taught right at home, I told my mother one time, I said, Mama, I'm going to hit the teacher in the stomach. Y'all know what my mama told me? She told me to hit her. She said, hit her. Look at Sister Bernadette. She said, hit her. I knew what that means. You hit that teacher, boy, you are in trouble. Teaching the Bible lesson. Students will know that even though people know right from wrong, some people treat others unjustly. The prophet Amos was born in the city of Tekoa. He prophesied in Israel around 750 AD. He was not the descendant of prophets. Rather, he was from among the herdsmen of Tekoa. He was a shepherd and also tended and gathered sycamore figs. He received this call to the ministry while he was out in the pasture with his sheep. His career as a shepherd and a common working man informed his views of the world and the way he communicated his prophetic message. He used images from nature and agriculture in his prophecy. Although Amos lived during an era of relative peace and prosperity, this prosperity led to an atmosphere of individual luxury, corrupt power, and moral depravity in Israel. Many had turned to the worship of idols and other gods. We thank God for you watching. We ask you to tune in next Sunday. May God bless you.